This is the second interview of our South Carolina Stingrays alumni series as we get ready for Alumni Night on Saturday night, April the 9th, inside North Charleston Coliseum as the South Carolina Stingrays induct two more into their Hall of Fame. We are talking with Stingrays Hall of Famer Marty Clapton. Marty, thanks very much for doing this, man. How are you?
Great to be with y'all.
Well, let's get started here. And you've been out of the at least out of the pro game for some time. How is retirement treating you? And get fans caught up on what you're up to these days.
Yeah, things are great. I'm living down in Jackson, Mississippi right now. Been down here since we moved from Charleston, and I'm still a real estate broker full time, and I'm also involved in a restaurant and a local bar here. So I'm plenty busy, and can't wait to get back to Charleston and visit with some old friends and old fans.
Nice. It's been a little bit of a wild weather year down there for you. I hope you guys are doing all right down there.
Yeah, we always joke about Mississippi weather. It's one thing one day and another the next, but we've had our share of hurricanes and tornadoes and just water issues. So it's been quite a time the past 2 years around here, but things are going well. It's a great place to be down here in the deep, deep South, place that we used to play against when they had the Jackson Bandits in town. But unfortunately, there's no ice down here now, so I don't get to get out in the ice much and participate. So I'm looking forward to watching a real hockey game soon.
Yeah, for sure. What attracted you to that area, to moving into the Jackson, Mississippi area?
We actually came down. My wife grew up here in Jackson, so it was a place I considered playing. When I left the Hampton Roads Admirals, I had to decide between Charleston, South Carolina, and Jackson, Mississippi, the two teams that were fighting for my services. So it was kind of nice to get back here eventually, but I definitely made the right decision playing for the Stingrays and not coming down here playing for the Bandits.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, let's get into this. You, as a kid, what attracted you to the sport of hockey? I know being up there in the Northeast and where you grew up, that hockey is, outside of football, the only thing that is done up there in the wintertime. But what attracted you to the sport of hockey?
I guess just watching so much of it, getting to skate growing up just on the ponds at the local golf course, and playing street hockey all the time. When I was growing up, Cam Neely and Bobby Orr had just finished up his career, so hockey was really the popular sport. And in Boston, you either played hockey or basketball in the wintertime, and I chose hockey, and I'm grateful for it, the opportunities it provided with going to college and then having a nice career in the minor leagues.
You attended Brown University, which is an Ivy League school. How did they balance academics versus athletics? For an Ivy League school, you have to figure that it leans heavy toward the athletic or academics.
It did. It was challenging at times. Myself and fellow Stingray Damian Prescott, we found a way to get through it, and it was a great experience, but it was definitely challenging, and the focus was definitely on academics for most of us, and athletics kind of took a back seat. And it was unfortunate we couldn't participate in as many games as some of the bigger schools in the Hockey East, but it allowed us to spend some more time on our academics and make sure we graduated.
You mentioned that it was a challenging time. What did you learn about yourself through that experience that you have had to lean on since then?
I think in college and in pro hockey, time management was the biggest thing. You just learn real quick how to use your time for the best resources, and with lifting weights and studying and eating properly and everything that goes into the college lifestyle, I found it to be very helpful before my professional career. So it was made you mature really quick, I think, at least in my college experience.
You went from Brown University into the pro ranks pretty quickly. How was that transition for you, and was it easy or hard to find a spot to play in your rookie season?
It was a challenge. The college game was definitely a lot different than the pro game. now with the rules that have changed, allowing more offense and less clutching and grabbing, that was something to get used to. I thought that was interference when I played in college, but I learned quick playing for John Brophy and Hampton Roads that you better hold up your man and slow him down and play that kind of slow down defensive game. So it was a challenge, but I think playing in Norfolk, Hampton Roads taught me a lot before I got to the Stingrays, having John Brophy kind of show me the ropes and all that. But it was, like I said, the game changed so much since I've retired that it's really fun to watch the pro game now with it being much more offensive.
We hear about John Brophy as one of the hallmark coaches, the high water mark that all coaches esteem to here in the ECHL. You actually had a chance to play for him. What was John Brophy like as a head coach?
He was a maniac. He really was. He didn't hold back, whether it was coaching you on the ice or just off the ice trying to motivate you. He was 100% in and was a really big motivator for a lot of his players, and that's why we enjoyed to play for him. But he was tough. He was very tough and old school on a lot of us, and really forced you to commit to the team plan and all that. But it was a good introduction to pro hockey. Years later, when I went to the Stingrays, I had the pleasure to play for Rick Aduno and Jason Fitzsimmons and Jared Bednar, and they're all different coaches and have their own styles, but I tried to take something from all of them, and certainly Brophy was, had a big impact, but the rest of the guys were great coaches to learn from also.
Do you feel like that experience with John Brophy the first 3 years of your career really gave you that toughness groove that you needed to go down and play in South Carolina and continue your career elsewhere?
Yeah, I think he definitely showed me that side of the game, and he made us all learn both sides, defense and offense, real quick, or you're not going to last long for him. So I liked playing for him, but it was definitely a challenge at times with some of the mental games he would play with us to motivate us and everything that came with that. But yeah, it was certainly a great experience, and the tough side of the game. I've never played on another team that had so many fights. He would have 2 or 3 tough guys on the team, and he certainly wanted them to give their best every night. And it was always a fun-filled night of fights and goals when John Brophy came to town.
Yeah, for sure. You guys won the Kelly Cup there in 1997-98 in your rookie season. I bet you had a moment there when you guys were celebrating that championship where you thought, man, this is old hat. I could just win cups every single year, right?
Yeah, it was a great way to start my career. And, after I left there, my first year in South Carolina, we won the championship. So, I was glad I didn't have to move around too much, but having that chance to win 2 championships in my first year was made for a great experience in both cities.
You've had a chance to defend that championship twice. Which one was tougher to defend, the Hampton Roads one or the South Carolina one the following year?
Yeah, it's tough to say. Both teams, I remember the following seasons where the championships were won by some great squads. So after we won in Charleston, Greenville had a unbelievable team that next season. I believe they went on to win that championship. But, I would say that Stingrays team, that was tough to follow up what we did that year.
What stands out to you about that initial cup run in your rookie year, going through that experience and having and living that for the first time, eyes wide open?
It was great, coming to Charleston and walking into a great organization that was run, just from the top to bottom. It was just first class. It was refreshing. Hampton Roads is a little bit different, where we were ending the franchise there as they moved up to the AHL. So I won't say it was bad, but it certainly, that last season, we weren't signing any top free agents. But in Charleston, it was just, with the practice facilities that the Zucker family provided, with the Ice Palace, all the way to the Coliseum, it was like playing in the AHL in many ways, how we were treated and with the facilities. So it was very easy to walk right in the door and be part of the club.
spending some time here with Stingrays Hall of Famer Marty Clapton. You had mentioned that the transition down to South Carolina was fairly easy. In that 2000-2001 team that you were a member of, the second Kelly Cup for your career, a team that was loaded from Adam Calder to Jared Bednar to yourself. You could go on and on with Stingrays and ECHL Hall of Famers on that roster. Did you guys have a feel as you went through that year that it was cup or bust for this team?
We did. We thought we brought in the right pieces, and, bringing in myself, Buddy Wallace, Joel Irving, there was just so many new guys that came in to complement the current existing team. So I felt like, it was one of the most stacked teams I had ever been on. And honestly, when I was sent down from the AHL and the Norfolk Admirals, I came down to the Stingrays, and I thought I had lost a step or two. The pace was a little bit quicker, and I just didn't realize what kind of team we were going to have that early in the season. But it was a challenge with injuries and call-ups and everything. Guys like Scott Swanson coming to the team, and some of the old veterans, Brad Dexter and others, just had unbelievable seasons. So we were really loaded from top to bottom. The penalty kill unit, the power play. It was tough to get ice time for a guy like myself some nights. And during the season, we had opportunities for guys to get called up, and it was just a great, talented team to be on.
Looking at where you rank among South Carolina Stingrays all-time, you're 10th in total points with 218 over the course of 6 seasons. Is there, and for most offensive players, I think that they can go back and recall goals. Is there one that stands out to you as one that you were like, man, that's a really cool goal that I'm going to remember for a long time?
I think there was some that may have been nicer than others, but I'll always remember scoring against my former Brown University teammate, Scott Sterling, in the Kelly Cup finals when he was with Trenton. And, Dave Seitz, I believe, scored the game winner in overtime later that game. And that was a big win for us up there. So that was definitely my biggest goal, I think. But over the years, there was plenty in the Coliseum that I enjoyed coming down and ripping some one-time slap shots past my old buddy Jason Saul when he was down in Augusta, and a couple other ones. But that was definitely the biggest one in the Kelly Cup.
I want to go back to the 01 championship team, and I had a chance to meet Jared Bednar when he was inducted into the ECHL Hall of Fame in 2020, and he's, I think, one of the most, if not the most recognizable Stingray out there. What do you remember about Jared Bednar as a player, and did you guys feel at the time that he had the qualities that it would take to be a head coach at the pro level, let alone the NHL level?
Yeah, right away you just notice Bedsy's composure. Even if it's behind the bench right now with the Avalanche, they could be tie game with 20 seconds to go, face off in their end. He's just cool as ice on the bench. But when he was a player, he was one of the toughest guys in the league. And, he wouldn't run around, like some of the tough guys were. He would be relaxed. If someone wanted to fight him, he was ready to go. But just his demeanor and composure, was always something you noticed him as a player that definitely carried over to him being a coach, and just the way he relates with his players. I think that really helps his ability to teach these kids and just be a good motivating coach.
What makes South Carolina a special place to play?
I think the arena, the North Charleston Coliseum, is certainly one of the best facilities that I've gotten to play in. The fans have always been passionate. The ownership group, all that combined with a great bunch of guys that, they all realize the opportunity to play in Charleston's, very rare, and, you got to take advantage of those kind of opportunities. So I think everyone really appreciates being able to play there. So you get a great product out on the ice because of everything that the city and the fans and the ownership group has provided us over the years.
You're a member of the South Carolina Stingrays Hall of Fame, and you guys are going to induct 2 more members into that class on Saturday night, Jeff Chikaitis and Patrick Gall. For somebody who's a member of that elite group, what does that honor mean to you?
It means a lot just to be respected and put in with the group of guys that are up there. The commitment that a lot of the Hall of Fame inductees have shown to the city and just their time that they spent there. It means a ton to be recognized. It's not something about scoring goals and, all the championships, but just to be a good community member in Charleston and, spend your time there on worthwhile projects. Like I said, the Zucker family and the Pearlsteins in the past have always, pushed us to be at the Children's Hospital or Habitat for Humanity. So it's just such a well-run organization. For them to recognize you as a player and what you did for the community means a ton.
Looking forward to Saturday night. This is probably going to be the biggest gathering of South Carolina Stingrays, current and past, since before we all had to go our separate ways because of the pandemic. I have to imagine that this is going to be a really special night.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've been talking to a bunch of old teammates and friends from Charleston, so I'll be heading into town Thursday to spend the whole weekend there and catch up with everyone. But I think it's going to be a really fun time. A lot of the guys haven't had a chance to get back. We're traveling from as far as the Bahamas with Chris Wheaton and myself from Mississippi. I'm sure some guys are coming down from Canada, but we're all looking forward to it and seeing everyone back in Chucktown.
Finally, turn this over to you. You spent a great majority of your career in Charleston playing in that Coliseum in front of that fan base. Is there anything you want to say to them?
Yeah, just thanks for the support over the years and looking forward to seeing everyone and saying hello to everyone before the game. And hopefully we can get a Stingrays victory Saturday night.
All right. Sounds good. Marty Clapton, member of the South Carolina Stingrays Hall of Fame. Thanks very much for doing this, man. Enjoy the evening on Saturday night.
I appreciate it. Thank you.